Previously on Heroes of Hospitality.
We got a deal, but now we have a much bigger task. There's two lanes here. We've got the employees from each company that need to know what the hell the other does. We got all the people at America's Best Restaurants. We've got all the people at Repeat Returns. How does this affect their job? How does it help them serve their clients better? And so I could see where both sides of the company had clients that needed the other thing. And it was now time to run hard and fast. That's how I like doing shit. I love breaking things. I love finding failure quick. And so there was no reason to think that, hey, we now have this done. It's November, December, January. Let's tell our clients what we have here. Let's put it together and let's hit 2024 with the most powerful marketing platform that's out there.
My name is Ashley Mullins, and I'm Director of Operations at Restaurant Marketing Networks. When I first started with Matt 13 years ago, it was just him and I. I fulfilled anything that he asked me to do because he sold, he promised clients things, I delivered those things, whether that had been Facebook posts, email marketing, website things that I knew nothing about, but I did my best, and it was just him and I for a while.
A lot of my marketing solutions that I created in the past were based off of what Matt Plapp knew to be right and what Matt Plapp thought the restaurants needed. So while I didn't like moving slow, I did some self-reflection and realized I had to do it differently. This time, I want to go talk to the restaurants and find out where they are, where they want to go, and how they can get there.
When Matt said that he was going to travel across the country with the ABR van and ask restaurant owners what they're missing from their marketing or in their restaurants, it's not surprising to me. It's exactly who Matt is. It's exactly what Matt does. Matt does it because he cares. He wants to develop the best product. He wants to give restaurant owners what they're missing. And that's what we've always done. We've always delivered what people are missing.
As we started having our team meetings every week to figure out what the platform needed to become, I reflected on 2020. When myself and David Schlatter packed up and went around the country and filmed MPTV and got to talk in person to restaurants about what they needed to survive the pandemic. We needed to do the same thing in 2024. We needed to pack up the car and drive from here to Vegas and do two things. Say thank you to the businesses that are supporting our company, but find out what they really need to get to the next level and what we can provide in this system that'll help them accomplish all their marketing goals. As the team and I talked about the idea of visiting these restaurants, we decided to put a Facebook post out there and figured 15, 20 people would say, hey, stop by and see me. And then we also talked to our team and said, hey, who's on the way that we need to talk to? Well, about 400 restaurants inquired about us stopping by, which at that point we realized we had our hands full. So what we did though was put everybody on paper and try to hit every classification of a restaurant. A food truck and ghost kitchen, a catering company, a barbecue sit-down restaurant, a pizza place that does carry-out delivery. I wanted to get variety, but also find out if there were commonalities between their needs, their hopes, and their desires.
We know that restaurant owners love their food and deliver great service to their customers, but they're not always the greatest at marketing. And so along this trip, we hope that Matt finds the marketing pain points of restaurant owners and brings those back to us so we can develop a great software for these owners.
We started with a list of a few hundred restaurants and narrowed it down to about 20 that we thought we could at least stop by, shake their hands, eat their food, and have a good time. First stop in the books, and you can't make this shit up how well that went. But we knew we're gonna have some in-depth conversations with a handful. Super Smokers was on the way, La Rocca's Pizza, Booty's Wings, Burgers, and Beer, Tacos Don Hector, and Papa Kelsey's were on the list. But first, we had to stop in our home state in Louisville, Kentucky at Chicago Jerk Tacos. Hey, give us a tour. Give us a tour, tell you what you got going.
My name is Aaron Williams. I'm the owner of Chicago's Jerk Tacos, located here in Louisville, Kentucky. I always had a mind, create a solution for whatever problem that arrived. And so from that, I think after working in the restaurant industries for a while, I kind of got burnt out with it.
When we heard his story about how he went from a chef at a restaurant to opening a brick and mortar right before the pandemic and then having to transition quickly, I was genuinely intrigued by what came of that.
So I got here and I had the craving for the food and was like, maybe I should try creating it. And I started creating the food that I was used to growing up eating. But we do a lot of caterings, and every catering that we do, we take our cards for our restaurant. So that helps us drive sales. We have a huge presence on social media, and we do a lot of local work with local organizations and a lot of the bigger events here within the city.
As he's talking about catering, things are running through my head. We've had marketing funnels in the past. We've done catering as a side piece to the brick and mortar restaurant, but I began to see how the platform could be used in so many different ways by different people.
And my plan is to work with my point of sales database. I got a lot of customers' information and got a nice email list, and I haven't figured out exactly how to utilize it yet, but it's just kind of sitting in the vault.
Here's a guy that's taking massive action on the streets, but not as much online. Now, why I'm never gonna critique somebody that's doing the work, you've gotta make sure that what you're doing with handing out flyers and going to community events leads people back to your Instagram, Facebook, and your website. But more importantly, that presence matches what they're seeing in person. This ended up being a great first place to stop because it got me thinking, are we going deep enough into the marketing funnels like catering in the platform, or are we just glancing over it? Because this is a guy that obviously is going to need that path to be really robust.
Thank you all. I appreciate you all stopping by too. Definitely appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
To figure out how to pay the bills of that place, make great food. That's, I think, our number one thing we lean into as entrepreneurs is what we know at our core. So now we're off to a restaurant owner I know pretty well. We've worked with Jeff and his two brands for a couple years, and I've seen him at many different events around the country, but I've never been inside his four walls. And I've always been curious because online, the restaurants look exactly how you want them to look. His marketing, his storytelling, and the food. What story am I gonna see when I walk through the doors?
My name's Jeff Fitter. We own Super Smokers Barbecue in beautiful downtown Eureka, Missouri, and we also own Case and Bucks in Barnhart, Missouri. My goal coming into being a restaurateur and my goal today in today's world is the same. I want to make people happy with my food. That's what it's all about. To see people enjoying the things that we create, whether it be in my restaurants or one of my 3 food trucks, is the ultimate goal. And nobody gets rich in the restaurant world. All cards on the table, we're missing about I'd say about $4,000 a week in sales.
He's missing $4K a week in sales? He's got 2 restaurants that are heritage, that have been around for a while. What's missing?
When you break that down, it's like a couple $100 a day. So having that email that goes out that says, hey, knowing they spend $32, hey, you come in and spend $37, we'll give you double points. All of a sudden that incremental increase times X number of customers, we're right where we need to be.
How is it that a barbecue joint that's one of the first in the entire city, a legendary barbecue city, isn't popping off every day? It comes back to marketing.
You know, my wife and we just actually celebrated our 30th year wedding anniversary earlier this month in April. I spent, in my corporate life, I traveled for a living.
Right out of the gate, I can see there's a little more on the line than I realized.
We started young. We had kids young. I get to spend more time with my kids and my grandkids now than I ever did when I was in the corporate world. I get to be home. I get to enjoy that time. But because we started young, we had kids young. Now they're 28 years old, 30 years old. They have kids. So it's perfect for us.
His family's involved in the business. He's a very active grandpa, but he's not active as he should be or wants to be. And that's because running a restaurant's tough.
having the tools that you've provided us, maybe even more so than the tools, is the guidance with our success coach, with Chad, with Matt, with Stacy, with being able to talk to staff and come up with ideas to be able to do more with the tools that you've given us has actually been fantastic.
So a question that always intrigues me is when you hear people ask, if you had $1 million, what would you do? And a large portion of people would be kicking back on the beach. Then you get a guy like Jeff that says, if I had $1 million, or if I had this, I would go all in. I would expand what we're doing. I would be able to breathe a little more and put more effort into taking this business to the next level. Where do you go after a high school football game on Friday night? Where do you take the family every single week? That quintessential mom and pop pizza joint. That's what La Rocca's is. But more importantly, it's one that's run by people who care. We're showing up like 2 hours late. It's a Sunday night, a couple hours after they close, the end of a long work week, and here they are hanging out, waiting for 3 dudes to pull up in a van from Kentucky. And I'm glad they did, because what we learned talking to them is exactly what I needed to hear.
I wouldn't say it was a dream of mine to own a restaurant. My husband kind of played around with the idea. An opportunity came and we jumped on board with, the restaurant.
This story is how a lot of mom and pop stories go. The husband wanted the pizza place and he's drug his wife into it with him. So now she's got to learn something new, which is running a restaurant. And oh, by the way, now you got to figure out how to get people to drive past these big chains and come to your restaurant.
You'd be surprised the number of people that come in that say they've never even been here before. They've lived here all their life. They never think about it. And then they see it, one of my commercials or one of my Facebook posts, and they think, oh, I'm going to go try that place. They try maybe a slice of pizza at the football game or at the basketball game, and oh, I always forget about that place. So then that brings them in here.
I love that they're active in the community. They're going to football games. They talked about putting jerseys up on the wall. Now the next step is taking that online. Why the hell not be at every Friday night football game, Facebook Living, updating the people? Because not everybody's coming to the game. You got to connect with your community different. It's not always about your pizza. It's about who you are and what you mean to the overall community.
I watch Matt almost every morning. It sounds silly, but I've learned a lot just from that. But I would like to go even further and dig into that and be able to do what he does on a daily basis. I have emails, I have dates of birth, I have phone numbers. I don't know what to do with them.
She's self-aware. She knows she's got this database. She's listening to my podcast and she's like, I don't know what to do with it. She needs not only a platform that helps her use the database, but a team that does it for her so that she can focus on what she's really good at, which is running the restaurant and being active outside the 4 walls. Let us handle what we know, which is restaurant marketing. We're driving through the heart of America, and this trip is turning out to be exactly what I thought it would be. Owners from all different types of concepts, all different types of service, with a lot of the same problems.
People pass by here all day, and since we're so new, they pass by like this. They don't even turn and look, but the moment I catch them at the door and I say, hey guys, this is our food, this is our business card, we're a new food truck, we're in the neighborhood, and now they're, oh, I wonder what it was, What I've managed to do is, when somebody's coming by, I give them a business card, bring this back, and the first taco's on us.
My concept was always create that neighborhood place, that place where people want to go. People feel comfortable and they just want to come back because they feel like a part of it. And that's kind of how we built Booties.
Magazines, TV, I think they are going to the past,
Yep.
you know. So I'm gonna keep working with that kind of guys, with that kind of companies, because publicity is good. And social media is the best, you know.
But at the same time, they're each doing certain aspects at a certain level while negating an entire part of the marketing plan. And that's where we have to, as a company, come together and offer something that fits a lot of different molds. So here we are coming into our last stop, a restaurant that has been with repeat returns for 10 plus years, who told me off camera that if repeat returns did not exist, his restaurant might not exist. And he was honestly concerned when we bought the company that we might change things that screw up his restaurant sales. If repeat returns meant this much to his business, what was missing? Up to this point, most of the restaurants had covered everything outside of getting new customers. What's up, brother?
You guys love orange.
So the game plan, give us a tour, talk about what you're doing, and then
let's do it.
these guys will sit down and ask you some smart questions.
Okay.
Well, my name is Andy Dell. My wife Katie and I own this pizzeria called Papa Kelsey's, and we are located in the East Valley in East Mesa. When my parents moved to California from Canada when I was 14, we moved to Santa Barbara, California. Back in the 80s, franchising was the buzzword. My dad franchised Burger Kings and Sizzlers, and I started working, sweeping the parking lot. That's when they used to have salad bars. I mean, I could do everything but touch equipment because I was too young. But I grew up in the business. My parents were more on the business side. They always had managers running it. And they had some good managers, and they had some managers that stole a lot from them. And they were very trustworthy. And it got in my blood. I think the restaurant business is, once it gets in your blood, it's hard to get out. They have ideas, you have ideas. You're blending these ideas. Everybody gets stale. It's, why do I go to the Pizza Expo? What's the latest phase in the pizza business? I don't know. I don't work for a big company. So I have to continue my education. This is, for me, like a continuing education.
Something that was music to my ears with Andy was when he talked about continuing education. Every day I record a podcast on restaurant marketing, going on 2.5 years. I started writing a blog about restaurant marketing a couple months ago. And I've written 3 books on the topic. So as a person myself that every day reads, listens, and watches content to improve what I do, when I hear a restaurant owner talk about it, it really excites me, because too many owners are stuck in the kitchen making pizzas and not improving themselves so they can improve the people around them.
I don't get excited in the morning because I'm going to shred cheese for the day. You know what I mean? I get excited when my employees are getting the hours they want, they're getting good tips, the business is growing. You know what I mean? They're laughing and having fun. That's what excites me. But as far as advertising, I would say our most consistent thing that we've had the best results from has been repeat returns. We have a monthly newsletter. If we have a new product, if we have an announcement, we have an anniversary, employee of the month, any of that kind of stuff, we want to let our customers know. I love that repeat returns helps my current customers order more frequently, and we give them a nice reward, and it's a great way to build loyalty with not only us, but with them. But I think it would be great if we could somehow have a better, more cost-effective way of reaching new customers.
Hallelujah! Andy brought up my favorite, customer acquisition. I've talked about softwares like repeat returns are Ferraris without gas. Customers die, customers move, hell, customers forget about you. If you're not continually feeding that machine with new people, you will go away eventually.
I haven't been this excited about repeat returns in years because I've been with them for so long that it's on autopilot. Well, at first I was concerned. I was like, is this going to change? Is the price going to go through the roof? Are we going to get that? I have a personal relationship with a lot of those folks. I've been working with them for 20 plus years. I've had 3 restaurants that they've helped me build. From a marketing point of view, and I'm a huge advocate of what they've done for me because it's proof. I didn't read about it. I lived it.
I knew this trip would be impactful, but I honestly did not imagine how much. I wanted to go fast 6 months ago. Common sense said to slow down. So as I reflect on where we're at and where we're going, I know that we have to create a platform that, more than anything, is easy for the restaurants to use, is backed up by a team that can help the owners that don't know how to use it, but at the same time brings predictability to the restaurant marketing equation. Jeff Fitter is here. He wants to get $4 more grand. How do we help him get that $4 more grand with predictability? And now we need a guinea pig.
On the next episode of Heroes of Hospitality, Matt and the team head to Virginia Beach to visit a longtime client of the company, where they dive into the results of the past 45 days running the repeat returns software.
Problem is now, are they going to become regular customers? I analyze every dollar that's spent.